Did you know that last night's leftovers might be powering your phone right now? Nope, it's not magic. It's real science. Let's dive into how we turn food waste into clean energy. That's right, from the banana peel you tossed away to the leftover pizza you didn't finish. It all helps create the electricity that powers an entire city. We're stepping into a new era where waste is no longer just trash. It's a resource. Ready to explore? Let's get started. It all begins with collecting and sorting. This isn't as simple as throwing all your leftovers into one big bin and waiting for magic to happen. No. Without proper sorting, the whole process fails from the start. We need biodegradable materials, fruit peels, vegetables, stale bread, things bacteria can work with. These foods are exactly what we need. Plastics, metals? Nope, they don't belong here at all. So sorting properly is absolutely essential. Think of it like cooking at home. You can't just dump all the ingredients into the pot without knowing which goes in first and which comes after. If you don't sort it right, you'll end up with a big mess. Now that the food has been sorted, it needs some pre-treatment. And if you think we just toss all the food into a giant tank and wait for it to break down, think again. The food waste gets crushed into a mixture that's easier to break down. Conveyors feed it into a massive grinder, like a giant blender. Imagine this like preparing a stew. You chop up everything so it cooks evenly. Here, we're not cooking it, but we are speeding up the breakdown process. If you throw a whole steak in here, we're in big trouble. The machine might even cry for help from overload, so we make sure everything is finely prepared. We even add a little water to create a smooth slurry, kind of like adding broth to a stew. Now this mixture is ready for the next step. Now here's where the real magic happens. Imagine we're taking all that food waste mixture and putting it into these huge airtight tanks called anaerobic digesters. There's no oxygen in there, and that's exactly what we need. Anaerobic bacteria, these little miracle workers, start breaking down the food waste. But don't worry, they won't make you sick. In fact, they do the opposite. They create methane gas. Think of them as the best chefs in the world, except instead of cooking up something delicious, they're cooking up biogas. At around 55 degrees Celsius, this process takes a few weeks, and the amount of biogas grows over time. For every ton of food waste, we can collect 100 to 150 cubic meters of methane gas. That's a lot of potential energy we can harness. So once methane gas is created, we need to capture and process it. This biogas can't be used directly. It needs cleaning. Kind of like how you filter coffee, we need to remove impurities like hydrogen sulfide. After the cleaning process, our biogas is ready for use, and it gets piped over to the next stage, turning it into electricity. I always wonder if I could do this at home, but definitely not. These engineers are working hard to ensure the biogas is clean and safe before it's used. Now comes the fun part, turning biogas into electricity. These biogas generators burn methane to power turbines that generate electricity. You can think of it like a giant gas stove, but instead of boiling water, it's generating energy. Each cubic meter of methane can generate about 10 kilowatt hours of electricity. That's enough to power 10 light bulbs for 10 hours. So from your last night's leftovers, we could light up your whole room. But that's not all. After the bacteria finish breaking down the waste, we're left with something else. Organic fertilizer, also known as digestate. This is a super valuable byproduct for agriculture. Instead of wasting it, we can use this fertilizer to help plants grow stronger. This is a perfect example of reuse. We're not only creating electricity from waste, but we're also making fertilizer to nourish crops. A closed-loop cycle. Now, you've seen how amazing this process is, right? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Like everything, this process has its challenges. First off, the cost. Setting up a large system with giant digesters, modern biogas generators, and all the other equipment isn't cheap. And no, I'm not talking about your daily coffee budget. Managing waste is another big challenge. If you don't sort it right, you're in for a disaster. Throw a plastic container in the digester by mistake, and it could mess up the entire system. We can't turn plastic salads into electricity, so make sure everything's sorted properly. It takes a bit of effort and care from everyone, but we can do it, right? Also, let's talk about supply. To keep producing electricity continuously, we need a steady stream of food waste. If we don't have enough leftovers, this plant will be like a phone out of battery. Nothing will happen. And are you patient? Because this process isn't as fast as you might expect. It takes a few weeks, even months, for the food waste to break down and produce enough biogas. That's why we need those big digesters. Not to lock up the bacteria for too long, but to give them enough time to do their job. But while we wait, at least we know the bacteria are working hard, kind of like slow cooking a stew. Good things take time. Finally, our byproduct, organic fertilizer. Sounds perfect, right? But too much of a good thing isn't always great. If not managed properly, it can pollute soil and water. So we've seen both the good and the bad of this process. Even though there are challenges, if managed well, turning food waste into electricity is a fantastic solution to tackle waste and energy problems. Just remember, no system is perfect, but with a bit of effort and care, we can turn waste into something truly valuable. Now go sort out your leftovers before they go bad. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more exciting content on environmental protection and green technology.